Welcome to Forums to Film. I've been really excited to start this series and get back into filmmaking in a big way. Those of you who've known me a little while know that I started in filmmaking. I did my degree in filmmaking. I've been on a lot of sets in different capacities. I moved to writing obviously in 2020 during COVID. I really wanted to start fiction and this was a really great opportunity to do so. I thought I would make my first feature film much younger, but I'm so happy that I have let this kind of unravel as it has. I've done a lot of different things. My business in general with horror now is much more multi-platform, and this just feels like the right time to do it. Now, it's going to be a little bit of talking in this video, so let's quickly change the location up a bit. Welcome to Portsmouth, the setting of We Met in the Forums, my hometown, and the place we're going to be filming this film. Those of you who have already read the book know that this location is almost a character in itself. It is also bursting with creative talent, and one big thing to kind of say right now is that when we do film here, I'm going to be using local friends, local crew, local cast, and I think it's really going to be a celebration of the city. So let's get to it. Let's sit down, let's talk about parameters, what I'm hoping to achieve, and what the next step is right now. So how do you start the process of making a feature film? Let's first talk about parameters, what this project is going to be, and most importantly, what it's not going to be. I have written 10 books now, including last year's Dead Awake Zombie series, which was obviously 6 books, and this one will not leave my brain. It is not my most perfect book, but it is the book that everyone tells me they love the most once they've read it. The reason I say that is parameter number 1, this film will not be a scene-by-scene remake of the book. No good films usually are, and I think there are things in here that I feel would translate to screen better with a slightly different perspective or angle. Now, we've all seen feature films, we know what they are. I reckon this one is going to land around 90 minutes just because that's a really good place for horror to land. In terms of scale, in terms of budget, that is the next parameter. This is not going to be a Hollywood film by any stretch of the imagination. This is my first feature. I'm adapting it myself, directing it myself, and Hollywood would not vibe with that. That said, it was never in the frame at all, it was never in the picture, so what I need to do now is set an expectation of where I think this film will land. Obviously, I do have the good fortune of having written the book and writing the script myself, so I can think about budget and kind of where this is going to end up before I even start writing. There are elements of Forums that would not translate well to a kind of low medium budget. There are things that could probably do with a lot of VFX or a lot of resources. That said, we are filmmakers. Horror has historically done so well with low budgets. We figure stuff out. We work around those challenges. And then the third parameter, location. Now, I just mentioned out on the balcony that this is all going to be filmed in Portsmouth. I am very, very confident that it has everything we need for this film. Obviously, I've written it all set in Portsmouth aside from like a little road trip in the middle. I'm actually going to go to a few of the locations in the book, show you around as I can, and start really thinking, start feeling the location and how it's all going to kind of piece together. In future episodes, I'm going to obviously go through the script. As I'm writing it, I'm going to talk about more about budget. I'm aware that people here will either be fans of the book, but also might be people following along for the actual filmmaking experience. And I'm really excited about showing you every step of the way, the ups, the downs, the weird bits in the middle, and I just know it's going to be a journey. And on that note, let's talk about challenges and a bit of a reality check going forward. Challenge number 1, timeline. This is not a project that you're going to see out in cinemas next year. I'm very realistic about the challenges of indie filmmaking. This is going to be a journey full of highs, lows, awkward bits in between, and probably a couple of moments I wish I'd never started it, but that's filmmaking. Challenge 2, and it's a big one, money. I have no funding for this. I have no kind of basis of even expecting to be able to sort that out in the short term. Obviously, I need a script, I need to budget it. We'll go through all of those every step of the way, but I have to be realistic about what I can achieve. In terms of budget, the main ways that indie films get made, either crowdfunding. I'm sure you've seen or have friends that have crowdfunded things before. That can be really great, but you really have to have a basis and a really wide spread of people who are interested in the film before you can even think about that. There's also private equity, obviously. Again, that comes with its own pros and cons. Can this be something that can be proven to make money? Because if not, then no one's going to give it you in the first place. I'm not particularly concerned about any of that at this stage. I think the next focus is script, concept, that kind of thing. And I know there are going to be plenty more challenges, but the final one to talk about at this stage is the time cost. Now, the majority of us have day jobs. I've got a few contracts alongside my writing and stuff, so I have to be mindful of the time that I have and balance it alongside other projects. But again, not too worried about that. I've been through burnout, I've been through all of that before, and I feel like I'm in a really good headspace to take on this mammoth task. Now that I've said all that, I've waffled on enough. We are officially going to enter pre-production. The next step is script, but obviously that is not the most dynamic thing to build these episodes around. So whilst I'm writing that, I'll obviously give you a little sneak peek. I'll let you know what I'm doing, but I'm going to make it more dynamic. I'm going to visit some locations. There's going to be some interviews with people that have done this before. And I think altogether, this is going to set us up for a really successful journey. Just so what you know to expect after this introductory episode, I'm also really excited about doing some visual tests, photography, probably a short film, as many visual assets as I can get together, not just for this series, but also in terms of having lots to show, lots of behind the scenes stuff, because at the end of this series is not only going to be kind of following the filmmaking in real time, but it's going to be a really nice thing to look back on and just see this whole process of making a very, very challenging project. That is the introductory episode finished. This is just a short but sweet one. From episode 2, which will be the end of May, we are going to dive much deeper into this, and I would love to have you along for the journey.